If you don't mean it, don't sing it.
The collapse of the Newsboys has left many stunned. For years, they were seen as pillars in the Christian music world, voices of inspiration, worship, and integrity. But with the recent disturbing allegations surrounding Michael Tate, whatever trust remained has quickly crumbled. Now, in what appears to be a desperate move to salvage their public image, the Newsboys decided to address the controversy during a recent live performance. For many of us watching, this was the moment we hoped for, a chance to see accountability, humility, maybe even repentance. Instead, what we got was something else entirely. I expected them to acknowledge the gravity of the situation. I expected them to speak directly to the people hurt by this, those who have followed them for decades and the victims whose voices deserve to be heard. At the very least, I hope they would express genuine remorse and take responsibility for the culture that enabled this darkness to take root. But no, what I heard was not confession, not compassion, and certainly not accountability. What they delivered was a vague, carefully crafted statement that dodged the hard truth. It was more about protecting their legacy than confronting the pain they've helped perpetuate. I want you to hear it for yourself. Listen closely, not just to what they say, but to what they don't say. The silence around the real issues is deafening. Let me play it for you.
I wanted to come out before we play and just tell you for just a few minutes a little bit about what's been going on, if you don't know. And yeah, you can have a seat for just a second. And then you're going to be right back up on your feet, okay? First of all, I'm Adam Agee, this is Jeff Frankenstein, Joey Davis, Duncan Phillips. And we're the Newsboys. Duncan, Jody, and Jeff have been in the band for over 30 years. And my first tour with the band, my first experience with Newsboys was in 2007. I had a band called Stellar Card and got to go out and tour with these guys. And we've known each other for a long time, and I've been blessed and honored to be a part of this band now for about 3 years. And so we've been doing a lot of life together. And as a lot of you guys know, our former lead singer for the last 15 years played his last show with us in November of last year. And in January, he came to us and he confessed that he'd been living a double life and he wanted to get help. And so he checked into a facility in Utah, and we encouraged him to do that. And we had to ask ourselves, what's next? And we prayed about it, and we all felt that God wanted us to move forward, and we felt like we still had a ministry and a mission to do, and so we continued to lean on that. And for the last 6 months, we've played everywhere from New York to Florida to California to right here in Arizona, and we have seen the most amazing people and the most amazing crowds, and we've seen the Spirit do things that have been, it's been so encouraging, and we've just had the best time as a band with you guys on the road. And then a couple of weeks ago, our world was rocked by the devastating news about what that confession and what that double life really was. And we were shocked because in January he had mentioned a few things about substance abuse and some personal struggles he was having at home when he wasn't on the road, but never anything of the magnitude of what we read and what was reported, and never anything ever, he never said anything that could have made us ever think that it could possibly be a danger to others or anything like that. And so it was so shocking to us because it's not the guy that we knew. The guy that we knew that we've been on the road with, he was our bandmate, he was our brother, and he was a friend to our families, to our kids. We got 14 kids between us, and he was friend to our families. He would come over to our house and hang out. We'd go over to his house and take our kids over there and watch the Super Bowl at his house because it was awesome. And it's just been devastating for us. And our families have felt like our names have been just dragged through the mud because of all this. And it's really, really hurt our kids. And
love you guys. Love you. God is greater than that.
And as a result of all this and the things that have come out that he's done and that he's confessed to, we've been dropped from our record label. We've had radio stations pull our music, and we've been canceled by promoters and venues all over the world, but not tonight. Not in Arizona. Not in my home state. Not by Brian Cole and Extreme Faith Productions, who's still with us and Newsboys. I grew up here. I've known Brian and the Extreme Faith crew for 20 years. Went to Arizona State University. I met my wife here. I was a part of starting many churches here, one including The Bridge, who we started right there. The youth group's here tonight. My pastors, my friends are here. My family's here. And we felt love in the pre-show meet and greet. We feel so much love right now. We cannot wait to have a great show with you guys tonight and worship together. Thank you for being here. We love you. We'll see you again.
Don't even know where to begin with that speech. Honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how deeply wrong it was on every level. If anyone out there still genuinely believes the Newsboys had no idea what was going on with Michael Tate, then they're either in denial or choosing to ignore the obvious. The band stepped on stage and delivered a speech that was tone deaf, self-centered, and completely devoid of accountability. Instead of acknowledging the pain inflicted on the victims, they played the victim themselves. That alone is disgraceful. Let's be clear, they weren't canceled because of some unfair public vendetta. They were dropped by promoters because they toured for over a decade alongside a man accused of some of the most disturbing behavior imaginable, behavior that was happening under their very noses. And instead of addressing that reality, they centered the entire speech on their own hurt feelings, how they've been dragged through the mud, how difficult this has been for them. No mention of the survivors, no ownership, just self-pity and spin. It's a slap in the face to every single person who trusted them, to the fans who bought tickets, sang along, and believed in the image the band carefully maintained. But most of all, it's an insult to the victims whose trauma has been ignored. You cannot be around someone that long on the road, on the tour bus, in green rooms, in hotels, and not pick up on the signs, the drug use, the partying, the erratic behavior, the stories whispered behind closed doors. The Newsboys didn't miss the signs. They chose to look away. Why? Because speaking up would have cost them something: reputation, influence, and most importantly, money. Let's not forget, it wasn't until the accusations became public, until sponsors pulled out, until the backlash became impossible to ignore, that they finally decided to say something. And even then, it wasn't a confession, it was a performance. A well-rehearsed, carefully worded script meant to protect their brand, not confront the truth. And what's even more unsettling, the audience applauded, they cheered. That crowd clapped like they were witnessing a brave act of honesty, when what they were really witnessing was another layer of the cover-up. That kind of blind loyalty is dangerous. It sends the message that Christian celebrities can get away with anything as long as they smile, quote a few Bible verses, and keep the hits coming. And where is the real repentance? If these men truly felt the weight of what has happened, they'd step away. They'd pause the tours. They'd go offline. They'd give the victims space to heal and do the hard, uncomfortable work of accountability. But they're not doing that. They're pushing forward as if nothing happened. This is what happens when the Christian brand becomes more important than Christ, when the platform matters more than the people, when protecting a public image matters more than protecting the vulnerable. And let's be honest about why the music industry is finally pulling away from them. It's not about morality. It's about profitability. Record labels, radio stations, and promoters aren't stepping back because they suddenly care about justice. They're stepping back because the band is no longer a safe investment. When the scandal becomes more expensive than the image, the support vanishes. That's the real tragedy here. Not just what happened, but how long it was hidden. How many people were involved? How money, fame, and influence silenced the truth for so long? You want to know the real Michael Tate? Look at what power and unchecked privilege brought to the surface. Because money doesn't change who you are, it magnifies who you already were. And what it's revealed in this case is chilling. If there's any hope of redemption here, it won't come from another carefully staged concert speech. It will come from real accountability, real repentance, and a radical shift away from the celebrity culture that let all of this happen. Until then, the damage remains, and the truth, no matter how inconvenient, will keep rising to the surface.